Hey, it's Gordon. Welcome to the bench. Tonight we're working on a Brazilian rosewood tote. It's a palomino, as I call them. It's got the sapwood combined with the rich heartwood. Makes a really cool contrast. People go crazy over these. This one's missing a horn, and so rather than just put Brazilian rosewood horn on, we're gonna do something special. Boop! We're putting sapwood on the top. So we're making that palomino all the way through. Stay with me. I'm gonna show you how to do it. So our number 4 tote has some sapwood down here at the bottom. That's cool. We're gonna leave that, of course. That's a feature. People go nuts over it. And then we're missing the horn. This has been flattened off a little bit, but it's at a funky angle. It's not parallel to the grain. If I tip this up, you'll see that would raise some certain challenges. We could do that, but it's also kind of chewed up back here, and we need to fix that as well. So to make this as easy as possible, I think what we're gonna do is just take the whole top right off. We're gonna draw a straight line right across here. That way we're gonna be with the grain, and that's the best way to blend that parting line. If we do something like this, the grain's just gonna be wonky, and that's gonna stand out too much. You really wanna be parallel. So we're gonna go ahead and just top this off, and we'll get down here where we can make that chewed up stuff go away. But as you just saw, what I do have is a piece of Brazilian rosewood that has the sapwood in it. So we're going to introduce the sapwood back in here, and I'm going to orient it in such a way that it looks completely natural. So I feel like we're in a really good spot, or a fairly good spot with this. The sapwood now on the top looks fairly close to natural. There's no straight lines. That's what I like about it is, straight lines don't exist in nature. When you put a straight line on something like this, it's so, so elegant, and the curvature's there. It just stands out and that draws your attention. So I hope that that's going to be a little more natural looking. The color, I believe, is pretty darn close. I'm not using a technology that's available to measure the colors and match it. That was strictly done by eye, and it was strictly done by mixing trans tint dyes to try and find the amber tones of the original sapwood down here, and I matched them. What's left? Okay, we need to put the primary bore back in, and we need to put a counter bore on the top for that brass barrel nut. And there's a couple ways to do that. Well, there's more than a couple ways. We could drill from the bottom, we can drill from the top, we can use a fixture. Me, as crazy as it sounds, I do it entirely by hand. So I'm gonna hold this thing practically between my knees and use a Dremel tool and punch that counter bore back in place, and then we'll poke the through hole through. So one of the things that I use are the templates that I have created for projects like this. And by placing this template on, I know precisely where move forward a little bit, where that counter bore center line is going to be. So I'm just going to take a Sharpie, and I'm going to come right in here, and I'm going to center it up and put a dot right there. So I know where I need to be, and I know that the counter bore already exists because we didn't remove all of it. As you can see in this outline of the counter bore, I know it's that deep. A replacement didn't go to the bottom. That's something that I do intentionally because the barrel nut, as we put this back in place, I want the original seat for the barrel nut. So everything will be as much original as possible. All we're doing is this top diameter, and then the edge, easing the edge, make sure we don't screw this up. So one of the things I like to do, and that's probably the main reason I do this by hand, is that, chip out, blow out, screwing this thing up now at this point would be very difficult to stomach. So we'll just go again by hand, a little bit of finesse, and we'll take the next step. What we're starting to see now is the wax paper. So I packed the original counter bore with wax paper prior to capping it, and that way it doesn't fill up and turn into a solid puddle of epoxy. So I created a a void in there that I can just dig it out. It's soft. And then I'll find the original seat for the counterbore, and then just work my way out to that diameter. So there's the original bore. Once I get that wax paper out of there, it should be good. Now I can see all the way through it. So I know I'm on target. My template was very helpful. And speaking of helpful, this beautiful tool was manufactured, made by hand by a gentleman. His name's Adam Knudsen. And I know you'll see some of his products for sale in the near future, but the quality here is beautiful. The finish is incredible. And it just fits in my hand so well. I love tools that I can work with that are warm, yet durable, very nice finish. And this is super handy. I mean, it was not intended for this purpose, but that's what I've adopted it to. It's very nice. He also made for me a screwdriver, and again, turned by hand, and a super fit. It's a wonderful tool. And as you can see, he's using the high quality hardware too. This is waaaay hardware, and with a magnetic hex, so you can just put my tips in here and use that as a screwdriver. So there's a little shout out for Adam, and I know he's going to be putting up a website. When that happens, I'll be sure to share that with you. You'll see his tools again, I'm sure, in my videos, and we'll make sure that we send some business his way. But super cool. All right, let's keep plowing in on this. Okay, so this is where we're headed, and you can see I haven't reached that diameter yet, but I use the actual hardware as a reference. So the hardware is in place. We've got our through hole all the way through, and now we just need to continue to sneak up on that. Let me pull that out. We're going to continue to sneak up on this and make it big enough to house the brass barrel nut. So here we are. I just shot it with a satin lacquer. I'll do that about 3 times. We'll build up a little bit of a clear coat on it with the lacquer, and I touch it with some steel wool in between, 4/0. Not a lot, just to knock down any little barbs or anything that are sticking up. And then we'll finish it with a paste wax and cotton, not overly shiny, but just a nice buff, so it's got a nice satin look like this. Good grippy in your hands, but there it is. That's real Brazilian rosewood, sapwood, horn replacement, something I've never done. So this was definitely a challenge for me. It stressed me a little bit. I will tell you, if I didn't already mumble it in the middle of the video, the first horn I put on here, I didn't love it, and I just didn't have the right placement with the sapwood. It didn't look natural to me. Here I tried to kind of follow the curvature of what I would imagine, you know, the periphery of the log would be. So it's believable. This is better on my second round. So I guess that's testament to all of you guys. You know, if you're scared of it, do it. Try it. If you don't love it, do it again. And that was really the story of this one. So second time around, I think it came out really nice. There it is.